G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to Gaijins' April 1st event. Today we're playing with some nuclear submarines, and welcome aboard the US Virginia class. And we've got a dark match, so I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. Alright, before we get too far in, I'm just going to launch off a couple of torpedoes. Active sonar and self-homing activated. Let's get a second one out here. I don't expect these torpedoes are actually going to hit anything. They're just to make the enemy team duck and cover while I'm getting into position. So, the April Fool's event is nuclear attack submarines. Now, I'm going to do a little bit more detailed talk about this in a video in the future. I'm not going to do it on this one. I just want to put some live gameplay up, and I think we've got a good match here. There's a lot of things wrong with it. There is the potential for a good game inside of here, and I should probably emphasize this. As far as I've been able to find out, and I have shot off an email to Gaijin just to see if I can get 100% confirmation, but I haven't got a response yet, unfortunately. But this isn't intended for War Thunder. This is meant to be sort of a test for a potential new game, as I understand it. So, yeah. No submarines coming to War Thunder as far as we know at this point. Yeah, we should be fine on that active sonar. Okay, so what am I doing at the moment? Well, we've just launched 2 torpedoes. Those torpedoes are going to try and make the targets coming out of the middle spawn hopefully duck and dive away and not approach too quickly, which will give me time to get the submarine in position. And as we go deeper here, this is a low light match, so we're going to lose almost all visibility because we're going to the bottom, but that's fine with me. I've played a couple of these, and I actually really like playing in these. Let's be perfectly honest, submarines shouldn't have a great deal of visibility anyway. So, I should probably explain what's going on with the UI. Top left-hand corner is the ultra-high frequency sonar. Now, this is not bullshit. Submarines actually have this. It looks a little bit different. In fact, the real stuff from the photos that I've seen for ultra high frequency is likely more detailed than what we're seeing here, but it's a decent representation of what they can see. You can probably see a little bit too far in Gaijin's version, but essentially what it is, it's a short range high frequency sonar that's designed for navigation and detecting mines. Now, as I said, it's not perfect. It probably doesn't see in as much detail as the real one can, but it can see a much further distance than the real one can. The real one's only good for 100 or 200 yards, give or take. It's classified exactly how far they are, but the assumption is somewhere in that area for the effectiveness of the sonar. Just trying to bring our speed under control here, because we're just about where we want to be. Basically, I'm bringing it in from the spawn, and I'm trying to drop the submarine into the depression in this trench in front of us. Now, Gaijin submarines aren't modelled particularly well, although apparently they built this event in just 2 weeks, so, you know, you can forgive them for certain things. Essentially, when you fire a torpedo, you've got to manually wire guide it. See, there is actually a submarine there on the screen. You've got to manually wire guide it. Now, when you switch back to control of the submarine, if the submarine is moving, it will automatically try and move to the mouse cursor, which is always set to the last place the torpedo was aimed at. So you've got to bring the submarine to a complete stop. So I'm bringing the submarine into the position that I want to essentially camp from, because that's really what you do in this game mode if you want to win. And I'm going to put it to station keeping, so it just sits there and doesn't move with no momentum. So even when it switches back to the submarine, from the torpedo, the submarine will not try and turn or maneuver or do anything. It'll just stay. And then I'm going to lob torpedoes into the dark using just the ultra high frequency sonar, the active sonar on the torpedo, and the automatic guidance on the torpedo to find our targets. Now, we did just launch a torpedo then. I just realised you guys wouldn't have actually seen that. What I'm going to do, if you look on the map in the bottom right hand corner, there's a trench that leads around to the enemy's spawn. So the first thing I want to do is make sure this trench is clear. So we're active sonar, but we're going to stay on manual guidance, and I'm going to send this torpedo right up this trench and right into the depression in front of the enemy spawn. Hopefully we'll find someone. If there's anybody in the trench, hopefully we'll see them first and get rid of them before they can come around and actually spot us. No targets yet. There we go, we got a target. 1.432, we're almost there. Vanguard class, 1 kilometer. It's shifted. And we are on self-homing now, so the torpedo should just guide itself in since we can't actually see it. And there it is, and boom, first kill. Alright. So next torpedo away, straight away. So that's all of our 4 torpedoes cleared, 2 from the spawn, and this is our 4th torpedo in the sequence. So you can see the cooldown is running on the torpedo at the moment. It's currently reloading all the tubes. No way to manually reload them or anything like that. It's... to call this arcadey would be an understatement. I do genuinely think there could be a good game in here if Gaijin did it right, but they've got to do sound propagation and a whole bunch of other stuff and work on the submarine's, I suppose, sailing model, because it's kind of bad. We've got a target on the sonar contact and nothing clear there, so that's likely at the enemy's spawn. So let's circle this torpedo around. Now there should be something else around here according to the map. Those noisemakers are back at our base. Oh shit, there's a rock there. 4,000 feet of cable left. So if I bring this back around... no, I'm not going to get it to where I want it. Oh well, torpedo lost. That's fine. We are now loaded and our next torp is away. So yeah, when you're playing in this kind of a light condition, we're essentially playing in the dark. Which is good. Now, as I said, problems with the ultra-high frequency sonar that we're basically using... oh, we got one. He went active, which is very silly. So we're on active sonar now, and we'll manually guide it through. The problem with the ultra-high frequency is that ultra-high frequency in submarines, as much as it's short range, is designed to detect terrain, much as you can see here, but it's also designed to detect things such as mines, and if it can detect them... oh, hello. And no kill, but we crippled you. Alright, we know where you are though, so let's get another torpedo out and see if we can find you. If it can detect a mine, it can detect a submarine, and submarines do not show up in the ultra-high frequency in this game mode, so... yeah, that part they haven't got right. If they're gonna have the camera in, they should probably do some work, especially if they're gonna do a game on this. Submarine games are a niche audience, a very niche audience, even more so than aircraft games. We got a countermeasure there. Let's go through. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Target destroyed, and that was the same one I got before. I didn't think it was that close. Just to be clear, we haven't been detected yet either. They have absolutely no idea where these torpedoes have come from, and this is why I've set myself here. I can set myself in pretty much any of the trenches, but I like to spread the torpedoes around, some from the left and some from the right. It makes it hard to work out exactly where my submarine is, so doing counterfire is a pain in the ass. There is also, being in the trench, there is actually some effect from line of sight as well. It looks like we've got 2 in the trench ahead of us, so we'll bring it down here, turn it around and see whether or not we can actually find someone. But yeah, line of sight does seem to affect how the sonar, quote unquote, in this is actually working. And 3 kilometers, I can see you nice and clear. Oh, we missed. Oh shit, we missed. Bring that back around. Come on, turn before we lose it. There it is. Hit, no kill. God damn it. That's 2. see if we can find him again with this one. But yeah, submarine games are very much a niche audience, and you've got to get certain things right to be able to appeal to this particular audience, even more so than tanks or aircraft. There's a reason why Cold Waters, for example, as much as it is very much on the soft sim arcade game sort of level of things, was actually quite popular amongst some sub-sim community. And that's because there was a lot of things they got right, especially the sound propagation. And as a result, thought I'd go for the beacon there and get a sonar. That's where it come from. And I don't think we're going to find that. And I can't find what dropped the beacon over here. But yeah, we're going to run out of cable here. Let's dip this down. Nothing hiding in between the rocks. You tend to find on these maps a lot of people hiding... Ooh, hello. A lot of people hiding near the surface. God, will we have enough cable? Right, line it up. Self-homing is activated, so when the cable breaks, the torpedo should keep going. Impact. Got him. Sorry, Vanguard. Yeah, as I was saying, there is certain things you have to get right for the game to work, and this, well, there's no sound propagation. To give you an example of this, in a submarine, when you run the engines on high power, it makes a lot of noise. When you run the engines on extremely low power, so very slow setting, doesn't make a lot of noise. The movement speed of the submarine actually doesn't really make too much of a difference to the noise it generates. For example, you can be doing 20 knots, and if you shut the engines down and go full stop, drifting, you'll still be drifting at 20 knots, but the sound output of your submarine, I reckon there's somebody down in this depression. Do a pass over the top. No hit. And that contact will be in the trench over near the enemy's base. We haven't got enough cable to get over there. I'll turn this around and I'll bring it back and see whether or not we can find him. Now, I'm doing this one on passive at the moment. I'm not entirely sure, but I think if you keep the keep the torpedoes on passive, the enemy has trouble tracking them, which should be useful. There was somebody there. Haha, sneaky bastard. Yeah, I saw you popping in on the map. Actually, that may have been an AI. There's no name attached to that one. Odd. Didn't think there was any AI in this. Oh, no matter. Let's get another torpedo out. As I was saying, the speed of the submarine doesn't really matter. It's how much power the engines are putting out that's generating the noise. In Silent Thunder, that's what they're calling it, the noise is entirely generated by your speed. So you can be full stop and drifting at 60 kilometers an hour, and your submarine will be making noise as if you're running at 2/3. You only stop making noise when you are stationary. You will make noise if you use the ballast, which is actually incredibly silent. Changing depth is not particularly noisy in a submarine unless you do something like blow ballast. So yeah, the basically movement generates noise rather than anything actually modeled. So there is no sound propagation in here. Active sonar on the torpedo is quite simply a cone in front of the torpedo that when it's active, the torpedo can occasionally pick up a target and you'll be able to see it at a certain range. I'm just going to try and... No, I can't... I'm hoping to be able to find the sonar contact we keep getting from this direction, but I thought I would have found him by now. Yeah, and if you've got it turned off, the torpedo's a little bit harder to detect, and that's all it is. Alright, we'll leave that one at self-homing, and its cable will break. And hopefully it'll find a target. When the cable breaks, the torpedo doesn't just stop. If you've got it on self-homing, if it finds a target, it will lock onto it. So it's always worth, just before the cable breaks, trying to turn on... We've got 2 in that trench. And they're nearly out of points. One more submarine kill and this match is over. Alright, we are going to put this torpedo down that trench. So if we go just to the right here, we've got this split that leads into the trench that they're in. So we'll drop the torpedo down there, bring it right up to them, and hopefully we'll detect them. Now we're active, good. And we'll make the turn, and hopefully we'll find the target. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they'll have to improve, but I'll go into that in more detail in another video for the moment. But I do think there is a good game in here. And we are on self-homing. Come on. I think I'm going to be too far behind it. Oh no, we got it. Beautiful. And mission accomplished. Okay, so 4 kills, 1 assist, and no deaths. First place for the team. And we had 7 hits in total. Not bad. So anyways, as I was saying, I think there's potentially a good game inside here if Gaijin does everything right. It doesn't have to be a study sim, or even an advanced level sim, or even a sim in general. It can just be a game, but there will be certain elements they have to get right. The controls in particular are one major point, and a lot of the key gameplay elements will need to be adjusted. I will give it to them. This is quite possibly the most beautiful submarine game they've ever seen. I don't think there's been anything prettier than this, ever. Anyways, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. I'm going to put up a couple more of these. I've got a live recording with a bit of teamwork with Grievous. We're both pretty big submarine fans, so that should be a little bit of fun. I might put that up next. And I'm going to obviously do a couple of matches where I get a slightly higher kill, but we get a little bit clearer vision of what is actually going on rather than a night match. But I'm glad we got this one. I think it shows you don't actually need the camera at all to be able to see and make things work inside of this game mode. Anyways, guys, until next time, remember to click that like button if you do, share and subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, take care.